February is Black History Month, and to celebrate, we're shining a light on three powerful figures from Black American history you may not know but absolutely should. A visionary businesswoman and philanthropist who rose to become America's first Black female millionaire. A World War II veteran who fought bravely in the Battle of the Bulge, one of Germany's final and most intense offensives. And a courageous member of the Little Rock Nine who helped break the color barrier by integrating an all-white school. These are stories of courage, resilience, and legacy, and today we're bringing them to you. Born in 1869 in Metropolis, Illinois, Annie Malone was an American businesswoman, inventor, and philanthropist. She is considered to be, if not the first, one of the first African-American women to become a millionaire in the United States.
Annie Turbo Malone was born in Metropolis, Illinois to Robert Turbo and Isabella Cook in 1869. She went on to become the self-made millionaire who invented Black hair care products to cater to the needs of the market. So she initially started selling her products in Lovejoy, Illinois. When she came to St. Louis to Market Street, she began to expand her business even further. By 1918, she would open the doors to Poro College, serving as a site for Black cosmetology and expanding her brand, Poro, the Poro system, more broadly, nationally, and even internationally. She would have these franchise agents, which served as people who would demo the product, going door to door, demoing and showing people how they can continue to build and grow their hair and protect their hair through her hair care line. Annie Malone has been influential because of essentially her philanthropic work, her ability to be an inventor, to be able to expand and give back to the community and allow for the community to even grow has been pivotal to the understanding of St. Louis and even the Ville. The Ville served as an up-and-coming Black community and a place where Black businesses, where Black churches, where Black schools, and so forth was housed in that particular neighborhood. The Ville was conducive to Poro College's growth because you had different schools, Black churches, and other institutions there. And so Poro College really served as a place for people to come and to thrive and to be one with community and in community. And so that's why it was so meaningful to have it there in the Ville. This particular building served as a place for Black community members. So essentially it was a place for all things you can think of. It had a gentleman's parlor, it had a rooftop garden, it had dormitories, you name it. This was a place where Black people would come to build community, to build camaraderie, and to serve as the Mecca essentially in St. Louis. And it became a place where people would go when they couldn't go elsewhere in the city of St. Louis because of segregation and things of that nature. But this became that place where they really invented themselves and did incredible things with what they had and the resources that were provided by Annie Malone.
The year was 1919. Woodrow Wilson was president. A stamp was 3 cents. A loaf of bread cost you 9 cents. And on January 18th of that year, Adolphus Thaddeus Watson was born in Clarendon, Arkansas, into a society where African Americans were marginalized by segregation. Watson was raised by his aunt, Fanny Trent, a proud woman born into slavery. As a young man, Watson became part of the Great Migration as he joined millions of other Blacks headed north for a chance at a better life. He settled in St. Louis in 1942 with his wife and children. The trajectory of Watson's life was forever changed with the world at war. In 1944, Watson, by now the father of 3, was drafted into the United States Army. America's military was not exempt from the world of Jim Crow.
In World War II, the United States had 2 armies, a Black army and a white army. One day, we would sit down with our white brothers and talk with them and try to make them understand this is the only home we know anything about now.
In 1944, Private First Class Watson and the members of the all-black 351st Artillery Unit boarded the Queen Elizabeth, headed for the United Kingdom. Upon arrival, the man raised by a former slave experienced something he had never known: freedom.
Scotland wasn't segregated at all. I tell you what, you felt good about it because we had never saw these things happen.
Winter 1944 was fast approaching, and the future of mankind hung in the balance. As the Allies prepared to fight what would prove to be the decisive battles in World War II, black soldiers faced the unthinkable. As if the Waffen-SS and Luftwaffe weren't enough to worry about, African Americans had to deal with even more hostility from their own countrymen.
The white soldiers, American soldiers, hated us so bad.
But Watson and countless other African Americans answered the call to duty, and in late 1944, the 351st found themselves in the Ardennes forest in northeast France. The Battle of the Bulge was fought in brutal conditions as the Germans launched their last blitzkrieg, a surprise attack that inflicted severe losses on the Allies. 75 years later, a man who was there, a man who fought bravely under the American flag, still has difficulty talking about the experience.
It's just like a nightmare. You ever had a nightmare and you wake up that morning and you didn't believe it happened? That was the beginning.
The 351st more than held their own as the Allies beat back the Germans. Private First Class Watson earned 2 Bronze Stars for his service. The hero's welcome for America's troops only told part of the story. As he headed home, Watson asked a friend if the war would change white America's view on segregation. The answer was sobering.
They're gonna feel like they owe you something, and they ain't gonna want to give it to you.
Indeed, it would be another 20 years before President Johnson signed the Civil Rights Act. But segregation did not stop Watson from working in construction for 31 years while raising 6 children with his wife, Lurleen. The priority in the Watson household was clear. Progress was to be measured in knowledge.
All of my kids got college education. Everything I did was worth it.
Webster's dictionary defines a hero as a person admired for achievements and noble qualities, and one who shows great courage. A black man born 100 years ago, raised by a former slave, who fought for his country and paved the way for an entire generation to lead a better life, certainly qualifies.
You have to be patient with each other, love each other, try to understand each other. I want to thank them for remembering and caring.
Many who know the story of Adolphus Thaddeus Watson approach him to only say 2 words: thank you.
We're marching on to freedom land. We're marching on to freedom land. God's our strength.
Don't think of the Civil Rights Movement and Black History Month as something outside of you. My dear friend, Black History Month merely brings up an issue that is your issue as well, which is, are you equal? This is the most important gift you've been given, which is your own equality, your own place in life. And it is the place that you're expected to maintain throughout your life, through adulthood. Knowing who you are, what you've come to contribute, and what you have a right to, and what you have a right to contribute is the most important gift you have in your life.
Perhaps no one better understands that gift than Dr. Melba Pattillo Beals. At the age of 15, this trailblazer was one of 9 African-American students chosen to integrate the all-white Central High School in Little Rock, Arkansas.
I passed by that school as a baby and then saw that that school was huge and beautiful and mine was not. And I wanted the resources it offered me because the students from that school went to the top universities in the world.
But her hopes of attending Central High School were met with oppression and terror.
First day I went to Central High School, it was an incredible mob that threatened to hang me, my mother, and all of us. A mob that did get close to Elizabeth Eckford and, of course, spat all over her. So there was ugliness there.
Multiple attempts to safely enter the school and stay in classes were unsuccessful, due in part by the illegal segregation orders by Arkansas Governor Orville Faubus. First, the Arkansas National Guard prevented the students from entering Central High. Violent racists traveled in from the South to Little Rock to stop the integration at all costs. Then the local police were overpowered by the growing mob of hateful protesters. President Eisenhower sent the 101st Airborne to restore order and ensure the safety of the students. The armed soldiers drove the Little Rock Nine to and from Central High and escorted them through the protesting crowds and into Central High School. But for the students, troubles continued inside the school, despite the presence of the soldiers who escorted them to their classrooms and stood guard outside the classroom door.
We found out after the first couple of days there that it was going to be difficult.
The white students who were friendly to the black students were also met with hostility from others.
So there were people in there who had souls and who would have done it differently. But whenever they tried to do it differently, they too were threatened and mistreated.
So how did this 15-year-old find her way to endure the heartbreaking persecution? She received life-changing words of wisdom from someone who related completely to her struggle. It was Dr. Martin Luther King.
I met him a couple of times, and on the first time I met him in Mrs. Bates' basement, all 9 were sitting there, and I was just whine. And he said, Melba, you are not doing this for yourself. Don't be selfish. You're doing this for generations yet unborn.
The teen recorded her fears and pleas to God in her daily journal. Decades later, Dr. Melba Pattillo Beals included many of those journal entries in her best-selling book, Warriors Don't Cry.
That is a book which tells you what happened in Central High School once I was inside, day by day. And it explains to you the process one goes through in one's head when you are being, as a child, certainly you don't think of death or attack or any of that as being something that is in your face now. And what that did was to teach me that it is in your face now. And it really made me alert and gave me strength that I exhibit today.
Her first-person historical account from Warriors Don't Cry became a part of the social studies curriculum for middle and high schools around the country.
Melba Pattillo Beals.
God has brought me a long, long way and kept all the promises that my grandmother made on his behalf. She said, be patient. God is with you, and he sees your need. And so I see that equality that I hoped for and prayed for and begged for.
Black history doesn't end here. It continues every day. Thanks for celebrating Black History Month with us. If you love history as much as we do, be sure to subscribe and check out our sister channel, Aspire, which celebrates Black achievement, culture, and history.